This episode of Unlocked is extremely special because we are recording on January 12th, which is my mama's birthday.
Yes.
Happy 50th birthday.
Thank you.
I know I don't think I'm supposed to say your age, but
it's okay. I'll take it.
It's fine. Happy 50th birthday. And two, I must say that everyone who listens to Unlocked loves when you're on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely loves it. You're the highest rated. Don't tell Dad. It actually goes you and then Grayson, I think. So everybody loves Grayson. He's got the kid's brilliant. He is. I love him to death.
Yes, he's a mess, but
he's a mess. All right, so I feel like there's so much for us to touch on.
I know.
Where do we start?
Well, we could start by...
I do want to talk about Damar Hamlin and the NFL and all the things surrounding that.
Yes.
Obviously, we don't know what happened. I think it was cardiac arrest.
Right. Well, Grayson and I were actually watching the game. Mm-hmm. So we actually saw it happen. Mm-hmm. And it was so surreal because just to see, CPR and being performed on someone on the field and to see the players gathered around and praying. And someone had posted something and I took a screenshot of it because I thought it was so meaningful just because of all the controversy that has gone on in sports in the past few years.
Well, yes, the controversy with sports.
Yes.
And I think, and two, I'm not going to tiptoe around it because frankly, it's my podcast and I'm going to put facts out there. And back when Tim Tebow was playing, Tim Tebow got a lot of flack for praying on the field, for wearing Bible verses, in paint on his face, whatever it may be. And that was, I think, a moment for Christians that was very difficult because your faith is being tested. You're not being accepted.
Right.
And now this Damar Hamlin situation, I think kind of, it changed sports.
I believe so. So this post said, imagine the last thing you saw as a 24-year-old athlete in top-notch physical fitness was a receiver that you tackled. Then you woke up days later to learn your cardiac arrest turned a football game into a prayer meeting. Convicted an ESPN anchor to pray on live TV to God Almighty and raise over $7 million in 2 days to buy toys for kids in need. When God decides to use you, what seems like a tragedy can be turned into a triumph. Wake up, number 3. I want to meet the guy that loaned his heart to the world for a few seconds Monday night.
That literally gives me chills.
Now, how amazing is that? You had an on-air ESPN anchor to pray to God Almighty.
And who was the anchor? Do we know?
I don't know. And you had football players who were praying together, who were surrounding each other from every walk of life, whether they were Republican, Democrat, white, black, whatever they were. They all were together, one accord, praying for their brother.
Yeah.
Who was doing what he wanted to do more than anything, I'm sure, in this world. Mm-hmm. And that to me, like you said, changed. That to me, unfortunately, it took a tragedy to change that. And I hope that it is a change that sticks.
100%. And I think watching that, it put everyone in such shock.
Yeah.
But to see the prayer that happened and to see everyone just put their pride aside, their politics aside, whatever it may have been, and to pray for this kid. And I don't feel like anyone ever gave up. There was constant prayer around him. And I think the sad part is this commentator who prayed on national television, I'm almost positive, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive he said something to the extent of, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
And he continued to do it. And I think we know what it's like to be in show business. Right. We know what it's like to be on TV.
Right.
And unfortunately, Jesus is not cool.
Right.
For television.
Right.
It's no one wants prayer on TV. No one. And that is really sad. That's really sad that that's where our world is and where our world has come to.
Right.
And
so my hat goes off to this ESPN anchor that did this.
Yeah,
because that took a lot of courage
he's a game changer. The anchor is Dan Orlovsky, and I may have butchered that name. If so, then Dan, you hear this, I apologize. But this man changed sports, I feel like. He changed the outlook and how we respond, and he reached millions and millions and millions of people.
Absolutely.
So to watch God work through him.
Right.
And, you know, I commented under Damar Hamlin's Instagram, his last Instagram post before what had happened. And my comment was, praying hard, Psalms 41:3. The Lord sustains him on his sick bed. In his illness, you restore him to full health. And, I mean, it got over 12,000 likes, you know?
Right.
But the crazy part about it, and one thing that I wanted to bring up about it, was there were so many people that were like, amen, God bless, in Jesus' name. And then you have people who are, shut up, clout writer, the vaccine did this. And there were a ton of other comments like that. And I think, too, that's a very touchy subject that we have not really touched on. I've not touched on it on my podcast, on the whole vaccine part of things. I do think that it's very alarming. First off, that comment was very uncalled for, because in a time like that, to where we didn't know whether this young man was going to wake up or not, you put politics aside.
It didn't matter.
Politics don't matter at that point in time. They do not matter.
Right.
I do think it's alarming that we are having so many young, healthy athletes just fallen to the ground, you know, after getting these vaccines, I think it's alarming. And I think, I'm not saying do one thing over the other. I believe you do what is most comfortable for you and what you feel comfortable in doing. I do think, though, we have the responsibility to ask more questions about research that is being done on why these athletes that are like the top 1% and that are in tip-top condition and are healthy are just falling to the ground of cardiac arrest. Again, I'm just speaking from my own thought process. We don't know what it is. We don't know if he did in fact get the vaccine. We don't know what the mandates were. He could have. It could have been because he just got hit at the perfect time, what media outlets are saying. Frankly, I don't ever believe the media one way or the other. You know, whether it's about the vaccine or whether it's about him getting hit, because we know that the media lies.
Well, because because he wasn't the person hitting.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the person hitting. He was tackling T. Higgins. T. Higgins wasn't coming at him. So I think that's what we need to understand too, is that, you know, and T. Higgins played for Clemson, so that's why I had special interest in that, is that I can imagine how he felt. T didn't tackle him.
Yeah.
He tackled T.
Yeah.
So I think you have to also look at that, you know, take that in.
I think
for whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is that, and I know we don't have a lot of information on his health right now, but we know that he did post from his hospital bed. He has spoken to his teammates. Those are all amazing, positive things.
Yeah.
So all we can do is hope and pray that God will heal him.
100%. And too, I commented underneath his post, and I feel like I'm going to reach out to him on Instagram and see if he wants to come on this podcast and tell his story and kind of how he truly has changed the world in a way. And it, like, his field in sports, he truly has made a difference. And I would love to hear his point of view and where he is at emotionally, spiritually, and how he's come out on the other side of it. I also want to go back to the quote from Dan Orlovsky. And his exact quote was, I've heard the Buffalo Bills organization say that we believe in prayer. And maybe this is not the right thing to do, but it is just on my heart that I want to pray for Damar Hamlin right now. I'm going to do it out loud. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to bow my head and I'm just going to pray for him.
It's amazing.
And that, I mean, it is absolutely amazing to see this happening and to witness this. And it's true. We're experiencing this in a way in our own life of being at the lowest of lows, like the most negative thing that could happen. But there's some way, shape, or form for us to influence other people.
Absolutely. I have come to a place, and it's taken me a while to get there, to know that God has a plan. God has a purpose for my pain, that this is not the end of the road for me and for our family.
Nope.
And that my story at some point, I hope and pray, will help someone else at their lowest. And Dad was talking last night, or maybe it was today. It was actually today. He was talking about a T.D. Jakes sermon and said, you know, it's easy to praise God and have faith when you're in your growing season. It's easy to praise, oh, God is good. He is, you know, he has taken care of me, and, you know, all this when you're in your growing season. But when you're in the season that is dark, that is barren, that you feel like you can't put one foot in front of the other, that's where true faith has to come in.
Yeah.
And, you know, that has been something that I myself have had to work on, because I know at the end of the day that there's a reason we're going through what we're going through.
And we're starting to see that day by day.
Yes, I have. Listen, like you said, there's haters out there. There's haters out there that people get what they deserve. I mean, just
at this point,
horrible things.
At this point, y'all are dang bank robbers.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, they're you know, they say horrible things, and that's okay. They have that right. They have that right to say what they want to say. But there are thousands that outweigh those negative comments. People who genuinely are praying for me and who are praying for me to succeed, that are praying for me to get through this valley, that are praying for my children. That to me is worth its weight in gold. And when I tell you, the people that come up to me, that call, that text, it is amazing to me the number of people that I know in my heart of hearts are truly praying for me. It's, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. But I know in my heart of hearts, there are so many people, just like this kid, that's this football player. I know there are so many people praying for him right now.
Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley is sponsored by BetterHelp. This holiday season, do something special for a person in your life. You. Give yourself a gift to raise your spirits and not just for the day. The holidays can be a really, really tough time between managing family dynamics, racing from thing to thing, braving the cold and dark weather, and sometimes it's filled with grief. So it's normal to feel down. Having someone to talk to about how you're feeling and what you can do about it truly is a gift. Coming from someone who has a therapist, it has taught me so much. I'm learning coping skills, how to set healthy boundaries, self-empowerment, and dealing with so much trauma. So I encourage you to give yourself the gift of BetterHelp. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. And if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist at any time. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Savannah. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Savannah, SAVANNAH, BetterHelp.
2 days ago was a rough day for me. It was a really rough day for me. And it really shouldn't have been a rough day for me.
And two, because we're not going to beat around the bush. I mean, it's all over the media.
Right.
But people listening may not understand why it's a rough day.
Yeah.
It was a rough day because we had a court hearing and the judge had denied the bond on appeal.
Right.
Which we knew going into it.
Right.
We knew. We have witnessed how broken the system is and how corrupt things can be.
Yes.
We've witnessed it. And so I think there was a sense of hope.
There was a sense of hope. To me, I kind of, I was thinking, okay, this could be it. And so I was disappointed. So it emotionally was like a really low day for me. And I ended up making it back to Nashville in time to take Chloe to therapy. So that was a blessing.
Yeah.
We
went to church.
And then you asked me to go to church. And I was tired because emotionally it just had exhausted me, and I had driven all the way there and back. And I knew it was the devil saying, Julie, just get your pajamas on. Just get your pajamas on. But I said, no, I'm not. You have asked me to go to church. My child is asking me to go to church. I'm going to church. And I am so glad that I went. The music was amazing. The message was amazing. It
wasn't a coincidence if you realized every song that was played was about God showing up when you don't think he's going to.
Absolutely.
And in the darkest of days, when you can't do it anymore, you have to have faith.
Absolutely. And the message was something that I had not, even growing up as a preacher's child. It was about fasting and prayer, and how sometimes, even the disciples, Jesus told the disciples they had to fast and pray.
Yeah.
And there were times when prayer was happening and people were praying, nothing was happening. And when the fasting was joined in with the prayer, it's when things started happening. So it is definitely something that I'm going to read about. I'm going to understand, because I feel like that. I feel like maybe I need to do that. So it was very interesting, but it was very therapeutic for me just to be in that environment, to be there on a Tuesday night, to see the majority, and there were hundreds of people at this church service, to see that 95% of them were probably 20 to 35 on a Tuesday night in church for 2 hours. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that I'm glad. Again, thank you for asking me. Thank you for giving me that accountability to say, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna tell my daughter no.
I didn't want to go. I really didn't. Like, I was just like, I'm not doing it. And in church, they even said, this is for all the people that didn't want to show up, that showed up today.
Right.
And it's moments like that are God moments that are like, all right, he knew I needed this. Like, he knew I needed to be here. He knew I needed whatever it was. And y'all, I'm not sitting here saying I am perfect by any means, because yes, I cuss. I maybe talk about some things I shouldn't talk about. I'm trying to be better. But I'm in a place with my faith to where it's a difficult spot, because I feel like there's prayer and prayer and prayer and nothing is happening. Now, like we said, it's part of a bigger plan. Maybe all of these things are not happening because they're helping us.
Right. Right. Absolutely. They're helping us to grow. I believe that.
Or helping our outcome.
Or helping us to have a better understanding that we're not entitled to anything. Yeah. And that we are no better than anybody else to have to sit in the valley for a minute. Mm-hmm. You know, we have had a beautiful, blessed life in many ways, and we've had access to be able to do things and do them when we wanted to do them and do them on our time frame. And we don't have that right now.
No.
And God has a way of humbling you.
100%.
And I think that has been a lot of what has happened and what is continuing to happen. My life before this, my prayer life, my spiritual life is different because I have learned that I don't control anything, that God is in control of everything, and that my timeline doesn't mean one thing. It is God's timeline.
Yeah.
So that's where that's my difference of before and after. Not that I was this bad person then and now I'm a good person. I've always been a good person. I've always tried to help people. I've always tried to do the right thing. But I've also learned that man will let you down, mm-hmm. and that people are not always who they say they are. That people don't always have your best intentions at heart. But I have become stronger in knowing that I'm going to get through it. Mm-hmm. That I may have some bumpy roads ahead, that my kids may have some bumpy roads ahead, my husband, but we're going to get through it. And
this whole experience, I will say, and too, for the people that listen to my podcast that are not spiritual people, that are not religious people, this is not meant to like beat you over the head with the Bible right now. You know, this is like a personal experience that maybe will lead you to start asking questions and to start doing your research and maybe giving it a chance. Right. And if you're someone who is of Christian faith or of faith and you're struggling with your faith right now, I'm in that boat with you of struggling with it, because there's a lot that it's like, all right, why are you allowing this to happen? And there's some questions that come along with that, and some anger and things that you have to work through. So just because you believe in God, it doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, or it's going to be pretty, or it's going to be all these things.
And what I am going to say, because I feel like I'm 50 now, so I'm 50. I can say what I want to say. That if you're not a spiritual person, if you don't believe in God, and you feel like what we're saying is the dumbest, craziest thing, and you know, it's nothing. God doesn't exist. When we die, we're just dead. If that's the case, I haven't lost anything. I've tried to live an honest, good life where I can be of servant to other people, where I can teach my children to be honest, to be respectful, to give back, to help those who can't help themselves, to lift people up. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, if I die and there's nothing, there's no heaven, there's no afterlife, I've not lost anything. But if there is, the person who is the non-believer has lost it all. Mm-hmm. And I've had conversations with people who don't believe it, and I'm like, okay.
I still love
But are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to take that risk? Because for me, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because I know that I am a Christian. I know that I have asked Jesus to come into my heart. And for a non-believer who believes that there is nothing in the afterlife, if you believe that, and I'm right, you've lost everything.
100%.
But if they're right, I've lost nothing.
No, I get that. And you are so right in that. But I also think it's about loving people to Jesus, not scaring them to him.
100%, which is why we are given free will. We are given free will. We have that choice. Everyone has that choice. You have that choice to take whichever path you decide to take in life. And it's not our job to judge you for the path that you take, 100%. But it's our job to love our neighbor as ourselves.
Yeah.
And that to me is where it, if we can be of help, if we can witness, if we can help someone through something, great. But it's not our job to push anything on anyone. It's just our job for you to see something different in me that makes you wonder.
Yes. I think that's the best way to put it.
And that's the way I live my life.
And
I want people to say, how's she standing? I just want people to see the good in me. I want people to see that my strength comes from him.
100%. So it kind of just goes back to that this whole experience it's grown you spiritually. For me, I would say it's brought me back spiritually. So there's got to eventually be a come around at some point. But for me too, it's just, honestly, it's put a lot of fight in me.
Right.
So that's kind of what I've gained from it, is that what has happened is not okay. I don't care what anybody says in comments, what anybody says, and what's happened is not okay. And the plans that I have, that I want to take from this and impact people and make a difference, because I feel like our system is so broken. It is. It's so broken. And you look at when you look at our system, the recidivism rate is like 85%. And that means that people who have been incarcerated, they are going to end up back in the system. 85% of the people end up back in the system. And that to me is a broken system. We have the highest rate of any other country.
Right.
And that's because we do not help people. All we do is we want to try to prove a point. We want to try to do this, that. We're not rehabilitating people. We're not
giving them skills in order to make good decisions when they get out.
No, we're not. And I've had some comments that have said, I love now that you're speaking out about the system and how broken it is. And it's like I said, you don't realize it till you're in it.
Absolutely.
We were tone deaf to it.
Absolutely. We had no idea. I never stepped foot in a courtroom in my life. I didn't know.
No, and let's face it, we are white, middle, upper class U.S. citizens. Like, what did we have to worry about?
Right.
Like we.
Well, it's kind of like we never had to worry about racism until Chloe.
Yes.
And when it starts to affect the people that you love, and everyone knows how I feel about Chloe. She is my youngest daughter.
Yeah.
And she and I have a special relationship that is beyond anything I've ever had. But we didn't think about racism till her.
No.
But when you see a child sitting at your kitchen counter and she's tears are rolling down her face. And I said, honey, what's wrong? She said, well, my friends today said I can't be a unicorn. I said, what do you mean you can't be a unicorn? Of course you can be a unicorn. No, because unicorns are only white. And I don't know why God made me this way. She was probably 5 at the time. Mm-hmm. When that hits home to you, you take on a whole other perspective of racism. But I had never experienced
it. We've never.
So that to me was such a turning point, because I was like, are you kidding me right now? Because, this is my child. She did not ask to be brought into this world, but God has a purpose for her. And for someone to judge her at 5 years old because of the color of her skin was so wrong on every single level.
Well, it's honest. It's ignorant. That it's blatant ignorance, and but we never knew that feeling.
No,
we never knew the hurt. So it's when you know better, you do better.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I feel like we all have to be better at giving grace.
When people are going through things that you've never gone through.
Yes, exactly. Because we have never, of course, I'm not going to speak on how broken our justice system is when I've never experienced how broken it is.
Right.
And we have a different view of the media because we've been in the media.
Right.
So we don't know whether the media is lying, what they're making up, what is the truth.
What someone's telling them, what someone's being paid to tell them, what...
Exactly. We do not know.
Yes.
So that's where it has become so difficult for us. And with the racism and things like that, that's hit home for us with Chloe. And we have had to deal with a child that has gone through that and that is struggling and is trying to figure out her identity and who she is.
Right. And it's such a shame because she should never, no person on this earth should ever be made to feel less than. But a 5-year-old little girl, there is no excuse because the things that she is hearing, the things that she heard, the things that were being said to her were things that other 5-year-olds have been taught.
That have been taught
and that have heard. And that is wrong. That is wrong. So now my plight in life is to always make sure that she knows she's enough, that she is beautiful, that she is created exactly the way that God wanted her to be. And that the color of her skin or the texture of her hair does not change the fact that she is a part of this family and she is my daughter.
100%. Heck, I tell her all the time, girl, I want your skin tone. I want your curly hair. And that's the thing. And we let her do what she wants to do when it comes to her body and herself.
Right.
And when it comes to her hair, if she wants it straightened 1 week, she's going to get it straightened 1 week. And we do it they are so careful with her hair. And
yes, she's never had products. She's never had chemicals put on her hair.
No, there's never been a chemical put on her hair. Her hair is so healthy, but we let her do what she wants to do and where she feels most comfortable and confident because that is her self-esteem.
That's right.
And we're not sitting here dictating, girl, if you want to wear a Halloween costume every day, you go do that if it makes you feel better about yourself.
Right.
That's just where we're at because it's what makes her feel better. And so it just goes back to no one can speak on a situation that they have no experience in.
That's right.
And when
people love to give advice, they love to stick their nose in other people's business, and they love to have an opinion on something that they don't even know, they don't even understand, or they've never experienced, or it's amazing to me what people, especially on social media with 3 followers, will say when you don't know the whole situation. And my thing is, and I've said this before, you're going to follow a family and then you're going to sit there and talk crap about them.
I know. But but you know what? You focus too much on that. Follow me. Talk crap about me. Because guess what? You're still keeping me paid. So thank you. That's literally how I view it at this point.
And that's a good way to view it. I take it very personal because I grew up in a generation where your word meant something and you were to live a life of integrity. And
that doesn't.
And I feel like I take it personal because, that's not who I am.
Well, I get it, but don't take it personal. Who gives a crap what Joe Schmo says? I don't. Yes, I have said there are certain things that hurt. There will be things that hurt that people say that are negative. But at the same time, guess what? They're still say negative stuff and pay my bills. At least you're doing something positive.
Well,
like that's literally
you got a point there.
That's literally how I view it. Say something negative because you're paying my bills. So there's a positive that comes out of it. And also, there's just ignorance. Like with all this legal stuff, all someone has to do, go to Law 360, go and get a subscription, pull every single court document and educate yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself. That's all you have to do, because you can see every single motion filed in a court. You can read it all and then decide for yourself. That's the biggest thing, is like, do your research, educate yourself, decide for yourself, and then say whatever you want to say about us at that point. But, because trust me, y'all, I'm a good researcher. I'm a great researcher. I find so much information out about people.
Yes, you do.
I'm very resourceful. I find people's OnlyFans pages. I find mothers and married people's OnlyFans pages to where they're selling explicit content that is just horrid. That are supposed to be people of, integrity and all these things. So I'm a good little investigator.
Yeah, you are.
I am. So keep talking shit about my family and I'm gonna come for you. Oh my gosh, but Jesus, yeah, I know. She's talking about Jesus. Jesus gave me my fight. Jesus gave me my fight.
I just need to just kind of bridle the tongue a little bit.
But it's, and it's hard. And Jesus, I apologize. But he gives me these instincts to go and look for things.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
And when you've got people that are coming after you, trying to tear down your family, but yet, what are they doing? They're pole dancing in their basement selling sex videos.
Well, very few people.
Like, justify that. Justify that for me.
Right. No, you can't.
Guess what? I'm going to speak for me personally. I'd rather be a bank robber than sell videos of my cat that is so unattractive. I'm just saying.
Well, all that I'm going to say is I'm going to pray for you and them. But at the end of the day, we're going to lift people up. And we are not going to be distracted by the haters. And revenge is mine, saith the Lord. Remember that. He will take care of those people.
But that's what I mean. Revenge is mine, saith the Lord. He gave me the instinct to go and investigate.
Right, but he didn't give you the ability. He didn't give you the revenge. It's his. He will get revenge in his time.
But what if he
will make things right?
What if he uses me?
No. That's not what the Bible says.
That's not what it works.
No, that's not how it works. It's not in Savannah's time. It's God's time.
Okay. Well, God, please take this woman's TikTok, or not TikTok, OnlyFans. Please, dear God, take this woman's OnlyFans and expose it. For years, we've all heard about Advocare. And Advocare is very well known for their Advocare Spark, which enhances mental focus, contains amino acids, 20 vitamins and minerals, an effective amount of caffeine, all while being sugar-free. It also comes in 14 flavors. A lot of questions that people ask are, what's it sweetened with? How much caffeine is there? When would I use it? Well, it's sweetened with sucralose. How much caffeine? 120 milligrams, which is equivalent to a small cup of coffee. We recommend that you use it at least 15 to 30 minutes prior to activity or any time you feel a need. All you need is an 8-ounce bottle of water and 1 stick of Spark, and you're good to go. So there you have it. That's Advocare. Now let's try to unlock your healthiest self by using Advocare's products. So, okay, revenge is the Lord's. I get that. Yes. So I'm going to try. But also, I'm a fighter. I'm not giving up on my family and what I know is right.
That's right.
And what I know.
We're not giving up.
Well, I'm not giving up. And it's going to get nastier before it gets better. But we know it's going to get better. This is not a forever thing.
Yes.
So we are going to continue to stay the course. I'm going to pray that our justice system kicks in and that there are people who want to show up and do the right thing and give the proper time and energy to these matters that affect the rest of someone's life.
Exactly.
And, there are other things that just don't add up. And, Jen Shaw, I had someone, there's actually, I want to say, there was, that Instagram, not skinny, not fat?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, Mom. Okay, so not skinny, not fat. Anyone that knows that Instagram, Claudia, I forgot what her last name is, that runs that Instagram. But she posted the other day and said, it was a picture of herself on her Instagram story. I'll never understand the law. How did Ty Chrisley get 12 years in prison and Jen Shaw gets 6.5? Like, please explain. Asking genuinely. Now, put the cases side by side, and it makes no sense.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Right.
You have someone who has
victims
who
have provided victim statements who were over the age of 55.
This is my thing. You have one case, Jen Shaw, who has admitted to guilt, who said that she would not appeal her conviction if she got less than 12 years. There were hundreds of victims who were elderly, and that people that provided statements that lost their homes, threatened to end their lives, that there were so many different things, and she got 6.5 years. 6.5 years. Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
Yep.
Because then on the other side, you have someone who has not admitted to guilt and who will stand firm in that. And people can say whatever they want to say. In a way, that hurt us because they wanted us to say, oh, we're guilty, this, that, and the other. We never did that because that's not the truth.
Right.
So we're standing by our truth that it is not guilty. There are no victims.
Right.
There are no victims.
There were no victim statements. There were no victim statements read. There were no victim statements received to our knowledge.
Exactly. And so none of it adds up. And to me, it's just, there's more to it. There's more to it. And from this, I have committed myself to figuring out what that is and for us to get to the other side of this so that we can help other people who are going through things like this. People who cannot afford to have proper counsel to represent them.
Right. People
who have been falsely accused of things. There are so many organizations out there that talk about this and that try to bring awareness to this. It's just hard, and there needs to be change and legislation. There's just so many things within the justice system that I want to educate myself on so that I can make a difference.
Right.
And I believe too.
Use your platform for positivity.
Yes. I want to use my platform for positivity and change. And like I said, our prison system is not one to rehabilitate. It's just one to beat down and belittle someone. That's what it is. And I believe there's a better way to it. Our prison systems, there's public and there's private prisons. And anyone could open up a prison if they wanted to and sign a contract with the government. And I believe that there could be a better way that rehabilitates people and teaches them and allows education and growth. And that's what I am going to work towards. So that is my commitment, is that's what I'm going to work towards. And like we said, it's not over.
That's right.
We've got God working. We've seen God working in the past day, past 24 hours.
Yep.
We have seen God working. And yes, y'all, I've spoke about God in this podcast, and I've spoke about OnlyFans. So there we are. We ain't perfect. So
well, I guess you're somewhere between Jesus and OnlyFans.
Somewhere between Jesus and OnlyFans, y'all. And there is one thing, that I do want to address. When we were walking out of that courthouse, paparazzi, of course, always wanting to get us. They're always wanting to sell a photo. And this guy was there, Savannah, tell us what you think. And I looked at this man and I said, you know what I think? I think you need to find a new job. It's exactly what I said to him. And so for those that want to sell stories and all those things, your parents must be really ashamed of you. That's all I have to say.
I can't think of a better way to end the podcast.
Exactly. So until next time, y'all, I'm going to keep you updated because we don't know what's going to happen in the next few days.
That's right.
Right?
Nope.
We don't?
Nope.
We're filming this on the 12th, so this will actually drop on the 17th. So we don't know what's going to happen that day.
Right.
But we do know that it's not permanent. We know that you and Dad are going to get through whatever it is that we have to go through.
Yep.
And we're going to keep fighting.
That's right.
So if there is a miracle that happens, then guess what? You're going to come on the next week. So.
And I just want to say to everyone that has listened to Unlocked and Chrisley Confessions that we thank you. We thank you for your continued prayers and your support. And you don't know how many days it's gotten me through.
I love that. And I love you.
I love you.
You are the greatest human being I think I've ever met. And hopefully I will learn some of your, your abilities of just keeping my mouth shut a little more.
Just be a little nicer, Savannah.
A little nicer, a little kinder. I mean, I'm kind. I just...
Sometimes.
Y'all, I'm just gonna... You get to see the ups, the downs, all my crazy moments. And I'm just gonna keep it that way for now because, frankly, well, it's life. So, until next time, I love you, Mama.
I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Unlocked because I've been unlocked.
I love it.
That's amazing. That's hilarious. Welcome back to this week's episode of Unlocked. I am so excited because I have one of my dear friends, Lynn Patton, on. Welcome.
What's up, girl? Thank you for having me.
First off, y'all, I am so excited because we have to go to Memphis tomorrow,
Yes.
but I told Lynn and our friend Shep that they had to come.
That's his code name.
That's his code name. That they had to come to Nashville first, and then me, Lynn, Shep, and Todd are all riding together tomorrow.
Road trip.
Road trip, yes. And we are so excited. But I thought this would be a really good episode to give people kind of like a backstory because they see my friends on a day-to-day life. But ever since I've started coming to DC, it's like I have a whole different set of friends there.
And we're so excited to have you there. And like we were saying, it's like a giant episode of Real World meets House of Cards.
It is. Every time I leave, something more outrageous happens that topped the trip before. And I'm like, what world am I in?
I know. Even you said you couldn't keep up if you moved there.
Yeah, there's no way.
We're out every night. It's all about networking. It's all about getting things done. You came to town and you've done nothing but try to advocate for the release of your parents.
Yes.
And we're thrilled to say that it works.
It worked. It worked. And did I have to sleep with anyone or pay anyone?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lynn Patton. I'm a deputy assistant to the president. I've been with him and this family for almost 18 years.
So
I started
far before
long before politics, long before all of the weaponization and warfare and lawfare, long before 2 assassination attempts, when the entire world embraced and loved them. But I've seen both sides of the coin. And what I do know is that there are very few families, maybe other than yours, that are under such a microscope.
Yes.
There would never be any appearance of impropriety or any sort of quid pro quo with this family or this president, because again, everybody is looking, even me. If I post something, Crew, which is like a ethics watchdog group, will like send a letter within 24 hours about whatever it is I might be doing or maybe doing or might, be accused of doing or look like I'm doing. They're just anything, they just throw at the wall and see what sticks. And so
yes, so like in the world of politics and you being in this family for so long, can you kind of explain to people how the media and political figures will take a tiny little thing and turn it into something it's just not?
Absolutely. I'm actually shocked that nobody's said or alluded to the fact that because we're friends and sometimes even in each other's Instagram stories, that I haven't been paid by you or somebody, or, they'll take that little bit and they'll say, oh, she was on Laura Trump's show, or she was friends with Lynn, or she's friends with Margot, or she's, friends with Alice. All of these things, there's nothing illegal about any of that.
No.
And by the way, again, I just met you. We clicked.
Well, guess what? When was it? When was CPAC?
CPAC DC was, it couldn't have been more than 6 months ago, I would think.
February? Oh, February. Shep said February.
I love that Shep is sitting off camera.
Oh, yeah, now. Sitting off camera.
And nobody knows his identity except for a select few.
He's tagged on my Instagram right now, and so when this airs, no one's going to know what today was.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
So February.
So February, and, you spoke at the RNC. Of course, I was there, but we never really connected. And I do have a confession to make.
I please, that's what I was about to say. Can you please tell everyone how you shit on me? Shit on me, literally.
Okay. Yes, I have an apology to make to Virginia and Brett, because when I found out that the speaker for criminal justice reform at the Republican National Convention, no offense, was going to be a white woman with blonde hair from Tennessee. Look, who had never been to jail.
Yes.
I was just like, what? Why? I was like, we have like Duke Tanner, we have, Michael Harrio Harris, who co-founded Death Row Records. We have all these advocates. We have Alice Johnson. Why doesn't one of them speak?
Why is this?
Why are we talking? Right. But I do eat my words, because you came out and you freaking killed it. You slayed. You told everybody about your story. You have become one of the greatest advocates we have for the Bureau of Prisons. And I hang out with you now. We're friends now. And so I know that this is not an act. You live, breathe, and eat to make a difference, particularly in this industry. You've met with the new Bureau of Prisons director.
Also, which is so crazy. So when I walked out of that meeting, because the meeting lasted 3 hours.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, you know how it is. These people in DC who are in high up positions, you're lucky if you get a 30-minute meeting. Yeah. It's just how it goes. I walked out of there after 6 p.m., 3 hours, and there was only one other person in the building, which was one of the security guards. So it could have been the only person that took a picture of me. But as I was walking out, they take a picture of me and they post it on this BOP Facebook page. And then I had Dad call me, because this is when he was still in prison, and Mom, and they're like, so you met with the director today? I was like, how did you know that? They're like, oh, all the staff members here are talking about it. And so even today, I spoke to the director and I told him that, and he was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. That was totally inappropriate. That put your safety at risk.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
And what I do love, though, is that you taught me a great lesson, which is one that I preach from the rooftops and didn't even heed myself, which is color doesn't matter. It's the experience, it's the story, it's the commitment. The things that you shared with us, the things that you shared with the president, the things that you shared with Alice and the Bureau of Prisons are concerns that should frighten everybody.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know over the next 4 years, you're going to make a huge difference and impact on how the treatment of folks in prison who are still there, who, you know, whether they deserve to be there or not, should be treated humanely.
Yes.
The fact that they rig all of the pricing of the phone calls and how it's privatized and all these things that, you know, we're going to get to the bottom of, and we're going to try to.
Well, it's actually really interesting. So part of my conversation today was because I did have Core Civic reach out to me, which I've met with. They're here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they reached out to me once Mom and Dad got pardoned. And they were like, congratulations, it's amazing. And I told them, I was like, yes, like we're rejoicing in this, but next week I'm getting back to work.
Yep.
And we need to figure out how we can work together. Because frankly, you're not ever going to get rid of private prisons.
No.
And some of these private prison operators, I do believe, have some better systems in place than what our own federal government has.
Of course.
And so I talked to Billy Marshall about that today. And under the last administration, they actually took funding away from private prisons. And
incredible.
That's what hurt a lot of our men and women in the system, because then we weren't cooperating with these private prisons, which means they're now going to our ancient facilities. And that's what he said. Now we're looking in the next budget round to ask them for more money for these private prisons so we can figure out how to work together, how to rehabilitate each other.
That's right.
And when everyone gets together in one room, you know, that's how you figure it out.
Absolutely. Which is why you keep hearing it. And I know you do, because I've been in the room when people keep saying it. You need to meet Jack Brewer. You need to meet Jack Brewer.
Yes.
He's one of us. He's amazing. He has been in this prison system trying to change it and effectuate positive change. And he's really big on fatherhood, signed the Fatherhood Act in Florida. He's going to hopefully be working with us on something similar. And just getting fathers back in the lives of their children, whether they're behind bars or recently released or rehabilitated. And he's big in the world of private prisons. And however we can work together, because that's what it's all about. Working together to implement change is what this president and this administration wants.
See, and I love that. What would you say to people, because I guarantee it's not going to be the first time you've asked this you've been asked this question, but what do you say to people that look at you and say, how can you as a Black woman support President Trump?
Oh, it's the most paramount question I get. You're a Black female. How do you work for a racist misogynist? And the first thing I say is that I don't. Yeah. I don't. And there's absolutely no amount of money in the world you could pay me to stay with a man or his family who I think harbor these types of ideologies, because it just wouldn't happen. My dad grew up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama. It would be such a disservice to him and everything he went through if I tolerated that sort of injustice. And what I always say, and this is the God's honest truth, Donald J. Trump does not see black and white. What he sees, in my opinion, is success and failure. And that's kind of the innate businessman in him. But whether that success or failure manifests itself as a person, policy, a restaurant, a TV show, it makes no difference to him. So when he said so controversially that Haiti was a shithole country, to me, what he's saying is that this country has failed its people. That they are a corrupt government that forces their citizens to live in abject poverty. That, quite frankly, it's the exact opposite. If he were worried about being perceived as racist, the fact that that country is 99% Black, he would have said to himself, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this because people are going to think that I'm being racist. But the fact that that part doesn't even cross his mind and he just speaks the truth, I think that's what people love about him, and it makes him even less racist when it comes down to it.
Can you also maybe tell people what one of the president's favorite events are at the White House? Because we have Women's History Month. We have
Black History Month.
Yes.
He was Hispanic, Jewish. He loves Black History Month. Like, it's usually one of his favorite events, meaning because the energy in that room is just so off the charts. The excitement, we had obviously record numbers in all of those demographics turn out in November to vote for this man. I have to sometimes remind myself that we are the majority. We've been beaten down so much for the last 8 to 10 years that I think we're just inherently trained now to, conceal your support for the president in public, not wear the red MAGA hat, not wear T-shirts. But we are the majority because when you abandon the priorities of the American voter, then don't be surprised when the American voter abandons you in return.
Oh, that is so good.
Minorities, no different than anybody, just wanted to put food on their table. They just wanted to put gas in their car. They just want their kids to have a solid education without coming back as a cat or a dog or a boy or a girl. Literally. And they just want to, live in a safe neighborhood and live a life of traditional values without being called extremists, without being called cultists,
without being
being called Hitler. I've been called a white supremacist, which is like hilarious.
That is laughable. Laughable.
Even Shep is laughing. I've been called.
Even Shep is laughing. Yep.
So, it's the argument that Democrats have against us is just, it doesn't stick anymore.
No.
It doesn't stick. We're your neighbors, we're your friends, we're your family members. We work for you, we're your bosses, we're your employees. And so at the end of the day, we're all Americans and we're here to make a difference. And people voted for change and they're going to get it.
I love that. As the temps start rising, I feel that familiar urge to refresh my closet, but I'm definitely not wasting money on pieces that I'll only wear once or for just one season. Quince changes that. Their clothes are timeless, lightweight, and far more elevated than anything else at this price. It finally feels like my wardrobe matches my standards, like the 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30, luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. The best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury without the markup. I mean, y'all, I am preparing for summer, all these fun trips, and I love linen and the luxe swimwear. So I have been buying all of their linen in every color that they have, and I am obsessed. I use Quince, and honestly, I think you should use them too. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/unlocked for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/unlocked to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/unlocked. If you've been following me and my family for a while, then you know I have gone through tons of changes. When it comes to my hair, I have always wanted to be different and I wanted instant gratification. So I got my hair done one time and I had to literally shave my head. I wanted it to grow out and I was struggling. And that's why I use Nutrafol. You may have heard of Nutrafol's hair growth supplements and wondered, do they actually work? Many hair supplements overpromise and underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different. As a #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, it's trusted by over 1.5 million people and is clinically tested to deliver real results in just 3 to 6 months. Adding Nutrafol to your routine is easy and no prescription is needed. Order online with free shipping and automated deliveries. Subscribe to save 20% and enjoy perks like one-on-one naturopathic consults and a free Headspace membership to support your hair growth journey. This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code UNLOCKED. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code UNLOCKED. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code UNLOCKED. Do you have friends who believe differently than you, who are on the other side of the aisle?
My parents believe differently than I do.
Wow. Okay.
I think they tell people I work at Costco.
Stop it. You are lying. You are lying.
I'm literally like Debbie's. And what I have to do sometimes is I have to say, Mom, Dad, well, first of all, my dad's been a doctor at Yale for 50 plus years. My mom's a language teacher. They are, from that sort of academia elitist circle.
Yes.
They were going to Martha's Vineyard long before, President Obama was. I grew up like the Cosby Show with one child.
Yes.
Which brings me to the fact, like, how could I ever, as a minority, say that I've been disadvantaged? Mm-hmm. It just hasn't been accurate. And I always say that DEI is one of the cruelest things about it, is it calls into question the accomplishments of the very people it's designed to, quote unquote, help. It doesn't elevate people, it taints achievements. Because I know more than anyone what it's like to walk, the halls of a New England boarding school and have people look at you and wonder if you literally deserve to be there or if you're just there because of your skin color. And so the Supreme Court got it right when they said, we don't live in a world where this is necessary anymore. Everybody's granted, it's the bedrock principle of this country, opportunity, and everybody's granted equal opportunity. It doesn't mean equal outcome.
Yes.
But, everybody's given a chance, and it's how you take that opportunity and what you do with it. But long story longer.
I love that. That's my favorite saying ever. Long story longer. I think I've used it once or twice since meeting you.
Yeah. What this president wants to do is shift away from sort of the identity politics of Black History Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic History Month, and just, focus on the golden era economy, bringing back the strongest economy, bringing back manufacturing, bringing back strong schools, bringing back school choice, making prisons better, bringing back workforce training.
Criminal justice side of things historically has been a very liberal kind of
social justice cause.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, but even under his first administration, the First Step Act, 2018, it was implemented. That was one of the biggest
bipartisan bills in history.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll never forget what Van Jones said at the time, which was, I have to credit Donald J. Trump because we've been trying as a party, as a country, to pass criminal justice reform, comprehensive criminal justice reform for 30 plus years. But the reason why it never passed, he said, was because everybody went to the table with an all or nothing attitude.
Yep.
And what Donald Trump did for the first time is he said, well, what if we put this little bit in there? What if we put this little bit in there from, things that we all want? What can we all agree on? Let's just put that in and then revisit it and see what else we can put in that we all agree on. And what else can we put in that we all agree on? And next thing you know, you have a pretty decent bill. And it might not be all or nothing, but it's something. And it's a start. And now, I'm proud to say that, there are informal conversations about, moving on to the Second Step Act.
Yes.
And that's about, housing assistance, education assistance, workforce training, making sure, you don't need a 4-year degree to be successful in this country. And Ivanka Trump was one of the first people to make that clear in the first administration when, she advocated for her dad to sign into law something that measures work experience just as much as a 4-year degree.
Thank
when it
you.
comes to hiring in the federal government.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Literally, in this whole fight, I mean, the director asked me, he was like, so what's your background? And I was like, my parents going to prison. And he like kind of laughed.
Yeah.
Because I laughed.
But
and
it's
he laughed.
true.
And he was like, no, but really, like, where'd you go to college? What was your degree? And I looked at him and I said, I went for 2 years, and then I said, I'm done.
But I don't think I know of anyone who's educated themselves more than you have in this space. And again, like I admitted, you made me eat my words because you are going to be one of our strongest advocates in this arena. You, Alice, everybody who's standing behind you and helping to get the messaging out there. So I look forward to it.
It's just when your life is on the line, literally, when the rest of your life is on the line, you have no choice but to educate yourself. Or I guess you do.
True.
I guess you do. You can either choose to sit down and let
stick your head in the sand.
Yes.
You could have cried, felt sorry for yourself for the next 14 years plus years. And
I chose not to. That was the biggest thing, was like, I could sit here and feel sorry for myself. But in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? If I don't fight like hell, I'm going to be raising 2 kids.
And you're going to be a victim too.
Exactly. That grow up without their parents, that become another statistic.
Yeah.
My dad's also going to miss my wedding. He's going to miss me having kids. He's going to miss, he's going to be almost 70 by the time he gets out.
Right.
And I refuse to accept that being my reality.
And the fact that actually the prison that your father was in tried to ban you from seeing him for another year.
A year.
Effective 3 months ago or something?
Yeah, at least probably 3 months ago.
Yeah. You would not have been able to see your dad for another, 8 months or something. And that is outrageous.
Oh, absolutely insane. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens to that facility, what happens to the individuals who work there. Because like I said, for the first time, I actually have faith in who the president has elected for this position. Because the last person, Colette Peters, I remember watching her swearing in, and I was like, oh my God. I was literally sitting in my bathtub with my laptop watching her swearing in, and I was like, yes, thank God, finally a woman in a position of power. Things are going to get done. And she left an absolute dumpster fire of a mess.
Because again, the media brainwashes you into thinking that, because you're a minority or because you're a woman or something along these lines, you're going to care more.
Yes.
But that's not accurate.
No, not at all.
You, again, prove me wrong by showing that.
I love you. I could hear that a few more times. Come on. No, I'm kidding.
I'm only going to say one more time.
Only one more.
Again, I love the fact that you proved me wrong, and I love the fact that we're best friends, and I love the fact that I just can't wait to be your biggest champion when it comes to what you're going to do and what you're going to change. And having a front row seat to that is just as exciting as it's been, on this journey with the Trump family for the last 17 years.
I love you. I do. I love you.
And your parents are going to be staunch advocates for change.
Oh, well, you saw in the press conference today, my dad was like, I'm not leaving these men behind.
By pardoning them, President Trump created 2 more advocates, 2 more warriors, 2 more non-victims who are going to make sure that the people they met and the stories they heard and the conditions they, suffered under are going to change and going to be better for the people who are still there.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. This process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. All right, y'all, summer is here, and if you're like me, then you're going to find yourself on the beach quite a lot this summer. Do you love your shades that you're wearing, but you find them getting caught in your hair frustrating? I know I do. Those days are over thanks to Shady Rays. Their best-selling tangle-free collection has nose pieces specifically designed to avoid any snags in your hair. This way, perfectly styled hair remains perfect. Shady Rays offers all the iconic styles from the aviator to cat-eye designed frame. names. So you're bound to find the perfect pair to match every outfit. I know for me, I'm an aviator girl. It's just who I am through and through. And I love using my aviator sunglasses to hold my hair back. But it's frustrating because hair gets caught. And well, now we have avoided all of that because that does not happen with Shady Rays. And here's the best part. They have the best protection program in all eyewear. Life happens and Shady Rays gets it. Whether you drop them, break them, or they mysteriously disappear, their lost and broken protection has you covered from day one. Plus, if they're not the perfect fit, no worries. You can exchange or return them for free within 30 days. It's risk-free shipping with fast personal support. With over 300,000 5-star reviews, that's a lot of happy customers. So start shopping for your next pair of sunglasses today and see why Shady Rays is the go-to choice. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out an amazing deal for the season. Head to shadyrays.com with code UNLOCKED35 for 35% off their premium polarized sunglasses. Snag your shades and get ready for the summer sun. Go to shadyrays.com and use code UNLOCKED35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. The day that they were pardoned, they weren't the only ones pardoned.
Yeah.
There was,
By the way,
I think,
28 other people were pardoned, including Larry Hoover, who founded the Gangster Disciples, one of the most ruthless black gangs in Chicago. He's since disavowed his association with them. And I think he was in the solitary confinement for decades.
Yes.
Like decades. That cannot be more inhumane. How he didn't come out just blazing and wanting to kick everybody's ass. I don't know if I can say ass.
No,
on
you
this
can.
Okay. But is beyond me. I mean, how you don't just lose your sanity is beyond me. But instead, he came out stronger, wrote books, advocated for people, is committed to helping others. Alice Johnson knows this, believes in him. Put her name on the line by saying he needs to be unconditionally pardoned. And now, actually, he's been transferred to a state prison, which may arguably be worse. And now, Governor Pritzker, let's see what you have to say, because now it's all on you. You can pardon this man and make him free and create another social justice warrior.
Thank you.
But instead, you're going to keep him behind bars, advocating from the inside, which is not as helpful.
No, because he was down for 50 years.
Yeah. We have Michael Harrio Harris, who also co-founded Death Row Records. Snoop Dogg has advocated for him for years. He was granted an unconditional pardon. Duke Tanner, who had never been arrested before. This blew my mind when he told me this. Become one of my very close friends. He'd never been arrested before, ever. Never been in trouble with the law. Got in trouble selling drugs, I think marijuana, which is legal now. Which, by the way, is legal now in most states. Sentenced to 2 life terms, plus 50 years. When Laura Trump said to Alice Johnson the other day, when I was watching her be interviewed at the White House, you had the same sentence, Laura said to Alice, as Charles Manson. I almost fell off my chair. In what world does Alice Johnson, a first-time offender who'd also never been arrested or in trouble before in her entire life, get a same sentence as Charles Manson?
Thank you. And for people that are listening or watching, I did an episode with Alice Johnson probably a year ago. And so you can go back and watch it. But her story was insane. It was all conspiracy. Drugs were never found on her.
Never.
It was, and she got a life plus 25,
and the one who was guilty of selling drugs, they ended up making a deal with, and I think he didn't even serve any time, if not more than 3 years. And out. And he was the true mastermind. We all believe in justice. But what we believe in is equal justice. I said that today.
And so when you speak about Alice Johnson, obviously you both are working within the administration, so you've gotten to know each other.
We're like besties.
I love it.
We go get coffee together. We go,
So what if you could describe Alice in a few words, how would you describe her?
I mean, hero is the first word that comes to mind.
Yeah, she is.
She's just such a hero because, again, you're talking about somebody who has every excuse to be angry, to be an unproductive, angry person. But instead, she's chosen to advocate for people like herself, you know, what your parents are going to start doing. We're going to her 70th birthday party tomorrow.
Her 70th birthday and 7 years free.
Yes, I'm
and she's
so
70.
excited.
70, and that's what I tell people is, you know what? Alice Johnson is 70 years old.
Oh, I know. We were talking about that this morning in the White House.
Yes.
Brett, my colleagues, Brett and Alex were like, what is she doing? I'm like, it's called Black Don't Crack.
Yes, exactly.
I have some I can give you. It's like, comes in a bottle. We should bottle it.
It. Come on.
Yeah.
No, but really, I'm like, she's 70 years old. It is never too late to make a difference in this world. It's never too late to show up and love people well. Yeah. She spent 20 plus years in prison.
Yeah. And when she told us, you know, Shep knows, we were at dinner and she told a captivated audience, like, her story. And she literally said her release date on her paperwork said death. And, you know, I was just like, wow. First of all, that would make a powerful movie title.
Yeah,
but
literally.
Secondly, it's just, can you imagine, like, the only way you're getting out of here is in a pine box. And what impressed me about her the most is that she told us all the things that she was doing in prison, speaking at schools, putting on, helping the prisoners, her fellow prisoners, put on plays.
Yep.
You know, that depicted stories from the Bible when they had visiting days for the other families. You know, most people do those kinds of things in prison so that it looks good on their parole board hearing. They don't do these things when they have no chance in hell of getting out.
Yes.
And so the fact that she was doing all these things with absolutely no, you know, goal in mind other than just helping people was what really impressed me about the woman.
I love her.
She's just so genuine.
Yes.
And she keeps it so real.
And she does not take shit. I mean, I do not want to be someone that pisses off Alice Johnson.
I do not either. I do not. And she said, she's like, you know, I was friends with the people that, you know, folks were scared of in prison. She was friends with the staff. She was friends with the women who, you know, maybe were meek.
Yeah.
Everybody got along with her. And that's very rare, I can imagine, in prison, is when you get along with everyone, it's almost just unheard of. But she's one of those people that just, you know, sticks up for herself, defends herself, and nobody's going to mess with her.
I love that. Okay, so before we wrap up, you have the next 4 years, basically, in the White House, and maybe, you know, but what?
I mean, I'm trying.
You're trying.
It's the honor of a lifetime. I always say the only downside.
Stop laughing.
The only downside of winning is having to move back to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't wish on anyone.
No.
But, you know, when the president asks you to come back and work for his administration for a second time, you don't say no.
No.
You serve at the pleasure of the president, and I will be there as long as he'll have me. But
and what's after that?
What's after that? I know. Well, coming out and maybe helping people like yourself.
See, I
you know,
love
making
that.
sure that we're making. Who's this we have?
Come on. You're going to come on.
I can't believe I'm meeting you for the first time. How are you? I feel like I know you.
Well, you should.
I mean, when your father FaceTimed me on the way back from prison with you yesterday and said, you know, I had to Google you because anybody hanging out with my daughter, I have to investigate. And when I saw that you were suspended from the government, I said, that's my kind of girl.
You know, listen.
You guys sit here. If you're going to tell the story, you might as well make me some money while you do it.
Let him share your money.
I'm sharing.
Okay.
He's got it.
It's like yesterday.
Let the money roll in.
It's this group of Democrats yesterday. They posted a thing about our pardon, and they said, "Why, dear Mr. President, can you help so and so and so and so?" And I went back and I said, "Who'd you vote for?" Don't start coming and begging for a pardon now when you damn ran him in the ground, talked all this mad shit, and now
Tried to put him in prison.
Who's ever heard of such in this country that we locking up our presidents?
Can you imagine?
I mean,
and shooting at him twice.
We've had whoremongers in the Oval Office. We've had blowjobs under the Oval Desk. We've had Hillary running the country behind and using her husband as the front.
That's right.
You
Joe Biden too.
Well, Joe didn't do anything. You can't blame him for anything because he wasn't there.
He didn't know he was.
Joe was never there. He never even knew he was in the White House.
Poor thing.
No.
Poor thing.
And I also, I believe in prison.
Yes.
I'm not sitting here saying to abolish prisons.
Deserve to be there.
Yes, but at the end of the day, we incarcerate more individuals in the United States of America than any other country in the world.
I didn't see that.
We then have the highest recidivism rate of anyone else in the world.
That's right.
So if we are the number one country of incarceration, should we not be the number one country in lowering recidivism?
Amen.
But yet we've got the highest.
Yes.
The Clinton News Network, that does all their bull.
On that note, thank you for showing up to today's episode, and we're going to cut it because I need some of you Dems to watch this too. So until